you know what's happening with the White Sox? Have you?
I haven't seen. Did they lose like a bunch of games in a row? 25 games in a row?
White Sox are something like 35 and 97 or something like that, and it's the worst team since the Mets.
I saw they had the longest losing streak ever.
They had a long losing streak, and then
didn't-
Oakland beat them. Do you guys see the full eclipse?
I did. I went to Arkansas.
We went to Indianapolis. We were prepared to be unimpressed, and my socks were blown off. I've never. It makes you kind of come to grips with that you're just a speck of dust in the cosmos. I mean, it just was shocking to me.
It was the same with me. We were kind of in the middle of nowhere, and all of a sudden, when things started to change, it was like a little bit scary. Right? You were like,
Well, we were at the University of Indiana. We were there with a bunch of Chicagoans, and we knew it was coming. And then it came, and the expression on my partner's face was just staggering. And the guy over a loudspeaker said, "Take off your glasses." And for 4 minutes, we looked at it without our glasses on. And it really was breathtaking. It was different than anything I've ever seen.
Yeah,
I loved it.
I love that too. That's cool. So I was thinking that maybe you could talk to us a little bit about your project about the neighborhood, mapping the neighborhood, but also just about culture in Chicago in general.
Okay, so people often say to me things, people who are not from Chicago say, "What is it about Chicago?" And I don't know whether they're talking about Al Capone or Oprah or
Right.
Michael Jordan, or something. They say, "What are we going to do about Chicago?" Are they talking about gun violence? Are they talking about the stereotypes? What are they talking about? Because there isn't a Chicago, right? There's my experience of Chicago, which is different than Malik's, which is different than everybody else's. So it's a hard thing to dive into. Did I say hi to this?
Yeah, of course.
Hey, yo, Andrew.
Andrew,
Over.
have him come over.
Come and sit.
Yeah,
They don't
slide.
have to film you, but you should come and sit. How you doing? Hey there.
Hey, man.
I'm Bill. Hi, Bill. Andrew. Great to meet you.
Hi, Andrew. My name is Trace Crutchfield.
Hi, good to meet you.
Nice to meet you, too.
Next to Chris. We probably won't film you.
Oh, yeah, that'd be great.
What press are you with?
Harper's Magazine.
Oh, cool. Oh, very
Like
cool.
Harper's.
Yeah.
Are you a New Yorker?
No, I was for a while.
You're in London?
I've been a Londoner, a New Yorker,
And
Washingtonian, now I'm a
and what's your
Virginian.
relationship to Alex?
brother.
That's what I thought.
Oh, wow, cool,
That's
man.
what I thought. And I knew Alexander pretty well at a point.
I know, yeah.
Your brother came to speak at the University of Chicago. And what I remember, and we had dinner together, and what I remember is that he wanted to be paid up front in cash. Because he didn't want to give Uncle Sam a fucking penny. So
Uncle Sam had a hard time getting
anything
out of Uncle
Alex, yeah. Anyway, I thought that was one of the funniest things. He was backstage and he wanted the money now in cash. Then he would speak.
Yeah, so Chuck Berry does.
Terrific.
Yeah.
All right, back to you.
I love just getting enough about that back to me. I'm not an elite thinker, clearly. But it's crazy that like a significant portion of the United States of America is not interested in arts or intellectual thinking or science even. And I'm just curious, how do you think we got there? What is the problem with being smart? This anti-elite thing? I'm like, if you're gonna call a plumber to your fucking house, don't you want an elite plumber or a mechanic for your car? You don't want some mediocre motherfucker coming around.
Go ahead, Andy.
No, you go ahead.
Well, I was going to say that I think anti-intellectualism is just a posture in a
Yeah,
certain way.
well, that's really what I mean.
also
Why
think-
is that posture
Well,
popular, though?
I also think, though, that we have a culture that has foregrounded individualism, and
True.
everything is reduced to the individual, and that
Yeah.
feeds that kind of
Yeah.
sense of we don't need to know anything, we don't need to be curious, we don't need to ask questions, because it's all about me. So when we talk about public safety, we talk about owning a gun. When we talk about public education, we talk about vouchers. When we talk about public health, we stay healthy, don't get sick. It's insane because there's no sense of the collective. And I think that one of the things that we were both remarking about Michelle's speech last night was that there was a sense of how do we build the community. And I think that's an essential kind of underlying kind of intellectual prop that we have to push if we're going to be any kind of social progress. You know, we have to think of ourselves as in community, not isolated individuals bouncing off.
I mean,
each
I
other.
think that's kind of the answer I was looking for.
Yeah.
More.
Well, okay, so it's glass. So the glass is more than half full. You're saying.
Well, I have a problem in that my mother was a Pollyanna, and I have a kind of a, it's in my DNA, I have a genetic flaw, which I tend to look at things not as optimistic, but as hopeful. My mother was optimistic, but
That's good.
optimist know kind of what, I used to compare my mother to Marx. They both think things are going to work out. I'm not so sure, but at the same time, because I don't know what's going to happen, I choose to wake up hopeful. And I go to bed every night disappointed that we didn't overthrow capitalism. But the next morning, why not be hopeful? You don't know. The day before Rosa Parks sat in, nobody thought the
Right.
modern civil rights movement was possible. The day after, every pundit saw it coming. It's bullshit. Nobody knows what's going to happen. I mean, if we knew what was going to happen, we could sit on our couch and smoke a joint. Well, we can still do that. But were you in Union Park on Monday?
No, I got here too late. But, I got there just at the end, and it was like, you know, it was pretty. I mean, it was much less than I'd hoped.
Well, it was small. The park was not half full, and it was very, very small group. And the people who were speaking from the front, and they were all people I know and all people I like.
Right.
They were just shouting slogans, and they were all slogans I liked also.
Right.
But,
Yeah.
but that's
Not
not
one
how
more
I
bomb,
think.
that sort of thing.
That's not how I think of an organization. Organizing works. I think you have to think of it as pedagogical. Any action you take as a radical activist, any action you take should be judged by whether you taught people things and whether you learned something. If all you did was look good in your keffiyeh throwing your Molotov cocktail, who really gives a shit? I mean, it doesn't mean anything.
Yeah.
To me, it's
Interesting.
always did I teach. And I felt like the rally organizers missed an opportunity to be smart and nuanced and complicated. Why don't we educate people about what's hypocritical, what's real, what we think is possible now, and push. That's one kind of argument I would have again and again. And another is that I feel like one of the complicated things about being an organizer or an agitator is that you want to hold on to your North Star. And my North Star is an end of capitalism and an end of empire. Absolutely, an end of white supremacy. That's my North Star. But I have to be willing to meet people and unite with people
Right.
who want to cease fire, who want, I want to cease fire. I remember in the height of the Vietnam War, one of the big arguments we had in SDS was with a faction who said Ho Chi Minh's selling out by going to Paris. What the fuck? You want Ho Chi Minh to fight the Vietnam War to the last Vietnamese life? Who the fuck are you? These American Marxists sitting in their towers, it just blows my mind. So that stuff pisses me off. I want us all to be better educators, smarter educators, meaning that we ask smarter questions and we engage in nuanced dialogue with one another. That's what I want. And that's what I try to do. That's what this tries to do.
It's all new writing?
Yeah, it's all
Oh,
new
cool.
writing.
Fabulous. Fabulous.
I mean, this is
Cool.
my 30th book, actually.
Yeah.
My first
30th?
book. Yeah.
God, you're irritatingly productive.
But
Yeah, that is
some
a
of them
30.
some of them are edited, but this one is.
You
very
don't let
short. It's a
did
very-
Axelrod have any editing in this?
Axelrod doesn't edit my stuff. He edits Obama
Oh,
stuff
gotcha.
that I write.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Well,
What was the last thing you wrote for Obama?
His speech last night, but Axelrod took out everything important about Gaza and about capitalism. Took it all out.
yeah. You should let his wife.
Is that really so?
Kept his wife.
No.
If his
This
wife
is
could
an
have been the
old
culprit.
trope that I've been.
Yeah.
I was
yeah.
asked during the 2008 campaign.
Right.
It was right after the election. I was getting off an airplane at Reagan Airport, and a woman came up to me and said, "Are you Bill Ayers?" And I said, "I am." And I said, "Who are you?" She said, "I'm a blogger. I'm a right-wing blogger," she said, from Chicago. I said, "Wow." And she said, could I interview you? I said, "Sure." What? And she said, "I want to ask you one question. And the question is, did you write Obama's memoir?" And I said, "Will you print exactly what I say?" And she said, "I will." I said, "I wrote every word of that memoir, and if you can help me prove it, I'll split the royalties with you." And that has stuck around. I was asked it last night
Really?
by Peter Sagal. Yeah, I mean, it's insane.
I go to bed every night wishing for the fall of capitalism. That's killer. Well, Scott's had some good lines. Dude, what was the collective age of all three of us on that bench? That's like 250 years of bullshit.